Welcome back to another episode. This is your host, Brian, and you are watching Game Brigade. So, I wanted to talk about Kickstarters. Um, I've done a lot of backing on Kickstarters, especially within the last year. Um, and I feel like, as a consumer on my end, I never knew what games to back or what would be a good buy. So, I felt like it would be a good resource to make some videos of maybe some of the games that I'm backing or some of the games that I'm looking at. Obviously, there's a lot of games and there's a lot of resources out there for people who are interested in what's available. Um, I am not an expert in terms of every single game that's going to be coming out. Basically, what I look for, and this is kind of how I do my process in terms of, am I going to back a game? Do I see value in this game? Am I inspired by this game? So I've got three games that we're going to be looking at today. One of them I'm still in the early processes of researching it, so I'm not going to totally know what I'm going to be doing on that. But let's go ahead and start with the easiest one, and right now one of the bigger ones is Ankh, Gods of Egypt. This is basically the end of the campaign. So if you're watching this, either you're already in it or most likely the campaign has ended. They might have a late pledge option or a pre-order option where you could kind of sneak in there if you're interested in getting this. Currently, there are 7 hours to go. There's 21, almost 22,000 backers, and they have eclipsed the 3 million mark. A lot of people didn't think they'd actually break 3 million. They thought maybe around 2.8, 2.7 million. So I'm glad to see Ankh has hit that 3 million mark. In terms of value, they had, you can see here, several different pledges. They have currently two different types of pledges. They had the $100 Faithful Pledge, and then they have the All-In Eternal Pledge. I will be honest with you in the sense that, although right now I am on the All-In Eternal Pledge, I am still having a moral dilemma with this game in terms of, do I want to stay at $1? Do I go with the $100? Do I go with the all-in pledge? Because when you're looking at what this includes, and when you look at the stretch goals here, what this game has currently, there are a lot of these guardians right here. So you can see, even right here, these are all guardian figures that are all Kickstarter exclusive. We'll talk about that too. When you're looking at the expansions, one of the expansions here is the Guardian set. Basically, when I was backing this, I was going to do the $100 pledge, and then I was going to do the Pharaoh's expansion and maybe possibly the playmat before they announced this all-in pledge. Because the Guardian expansion, to me, there's just no value there. It seems like with the amount of Kickstarter exclusives they're giving us in the Guardians, there's going to be no chance already that I'm going to be able to play this game and have every Guardian in that game. There's just going to be too many Guardians already as it is, so buying an expansion to include even more Guardians didn't seem worth it. But Simon, the company who, or Come On, however you want to pronounce it, I think they go by Come On now, uses a thing called Kickstarter Exclusive, and they play into the FOMO, or the fear of missing out aspect of Kickstarter. So with their Eternal Pledge, they're offering several Kickstarter exclusives that you could buy additionally if you wanted to spend $25. But the Pharaoh set, you get these cats and these eyes. The Guardian, and this is right here, the Divine Offerings. By going all in on the Eternal Pledge, they are giving you this Divine Offering Pledge. Now, you could buy that separately as an add-on for $25, but by just buying this, you're getting it. So, literally, I mean, really, it's basically, to me, getting the Guardians set for free because I want these upgraded cardboards and these tokens. So this is something I would buy anyways. And if I get it for free, but I have to pay for the Guardian set, I mean, it's at that point, it's either way. So, but I wouldn't fault anyone here for going through the Pledge Manager at maybe $1 or $100 and picking and choosing their expansions. I don't expect everyone to be in on this Eternal Pledge. In fact, you can see there's about 7,000 people who have selected that, and there's like, what was that, 22,000? So not even half, a third basically have picked that. So overall, also, gameplay video. A lot of people have been asking for gameplay footage of how this game plays. I was very curious because I don't have any games like this currently in my collection. And that's one of the main reasons as to why I kind of wanted to go in on this game, is I don't have Rising Sun or Blood Rage, which this is like the third in that lineage of style of games. So I kind of was like, you know, I kind of want to get in on this. I want to be part of the game. So that is kind of why I'm buying it. But they don't have any gameplay footage, and they're kind of blaming that on coronavirus. But they have they've done a write-up. It's a 5-part write-up for how the game plays. And so it was a little bit interesting to read that, to kind of get an idea. It's kind of a Euro game with taking the actions. The combat seems really kind of weak, in the sense that, okay, well, count how many pieces I have. I have 5 pieces, you have 4 pieces. We'll play a card each, and we'll see how it comes out. It didn't really seem that interesting, but I do like that it's not all dice rolling. Another game that I have that's somewhat similar to this but not is Twilight Imperium, and there's a lot of dice rolling in that game. And when you have a big battle, you can sit there for like 10 minutes just rolling dice. So I appreciate that there's no dice rolling in this. It kind of removes some of that variability. So this is the first game that I'm backing, but I will be honest with you, I'm 50-50 on where I'm going to end up on it. Most likely, I'm just going to maintain my pledge at this all-in pledge. I've actually pledged a little bit more because I do want the playmat. So that's currently where I'm sitting. So the next game that we're going to be looking at here is Final Girl. Now this has got 11 days to go, about $250,000. This is more of an indie developer. And this one is a solo game that I have gone in on because I really love the theme and the way this game kind of builds on the horror genre and the tropes with the horror. I'm not a big horror movie fan. I'll be honest with you on that. I don't like watching horror films, especially slasher films, but I have enjoyed some of the ones I have seen. And I watched a gameplay video. It's actually down here. Where are all the videos? It's Quackalope did a gameplay video, and I enjoy Quackalope. I subscribe to their content right here. This is Quackalope's video. So I watched this, and I was like, you know, this game actually looks pretty good. Pretty good. Basically, you are going to be taking on the role of the final girl of an area. So say the setting could be the summer camp, and you're going to be the girl who's going to be tasked with rescuing some of the other campers and defeating the final villain. And what I like about this game is that it is interchangeable. So you can pick one of the villains, say the poltergeist or this pig guy here, and then we're going to pick the location, and then we're going to pick the final girl. And since all those are moving pieces, the game will have a little bit more variable playability, because you can change the location but keep this final girl, but we're going to add this different villain, which keeps it pretty good. So currently I'm in this at 124, again, because I'm all in on this one, and I want the playmat. I like playmats. I like the way they keep the game clean. It also protects the cards you're playing because it's easier to pick the cards up off the table if they're on a playmat. Plus, I really think having that aesthetic look of the playmat will be pretty nice. So I'm all in on this guy. Basically, that includes 4 of these expansions as well as some of these miniatures right here. And then I added a little bit more for that playmat. So the last game that I have been eyeballing is this Resident Evil 3, the board game. Now, this one I'm eyeballing mostly because I am a sucker for Resident Evil, but I've heard a lot of bad things about this publisher, the Steamforged Games. I've heard a lot of bad things in terms of how they take a long time to get their product to the people. Sometimes they don't even do that. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm looking at a project is I'll click on this and I'll read a little bit about the creators, see where they're located, and then I want to see created. I want to see what games these people have made. So we'll click on this, and I thought it was interesting when I clicked on this that these guys are pretty much all high-end video game IPs. So Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, Devil May Cry. I don't know what God tier is. I've not heard of that. Critical Role, and of course Dark Souls. So these guys are all about the high IP games. I've heard good things about this Dark Souls game. On a board game trading group that I'm on, Resident Evil 2 does come up quite a bit. So, you know, I keep track of like game names that I've seen. So this one has come up quite a bit. So I was like, maybe Resident Evil 3 would be good, but then I've heard bad things about this publisher. Maybe wait for retail. So when I think about waiting for retail, then I have to start thinking about the Kickstarter exclusives. And this company has several. They have an alternate Kickstarter exclusive box. Some people cannot care about that because it adds zero gameplay components. It's mostly for your game board wall, which you guys cannot see in this shot currently. They also offer a Kickstarter exclusive Jill Valentine sculpt, which is probably one of the better sculpts of Jill Valentine. Some of her sculpts are pretty freaking bad. Like this disco Jill Valentine, I don't know what the heck this thing's all about. I mean, this one's pretty good, the stars, but I'm also like classic. I prefer the stars looks in almost all my Resident Evil games. I never really cared for Jill Valentine's blue outfit in this game anyways. I don't know, it's somewhat this thing. She had a blue crop top and some skirt. It was really awful. It was really, really bad. So anyways, this is a game I'm eyeballing. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to go in on this one. I've clicked saved so I can keep an eye on it, check out some of their content. I'm mostly curious of what other games you guys are backing. Currently, we had Frosthaven just ended. I did not back Frosthaven, mostly because my play group, we already had someone who bought Frosthaven who backed it day one. And I have Gloomhaven and they have Gloomhaven. And I found that the way I play games is I don't like spoilers. So I didn't want to play with them because I didn't want to open boxes and spoil the process for me on my end. So I just basically stopped playing Gloomhaven with them. And then the second group that I was playing Gloomhaven with, they stopped playing when my wife was getting later in our pregnancy. So I was like, you know, if I'm going to go in on Gloomhaven, I'm just not sure that, one, I'm going to play it enough. I actually, if you come up here, we can look at some of the games I've backed. There's a game that I've backed that kind of can fill that role right here, this one, Oathswarm. This Oathswarm game might take on where the Frosthaven would fit in my realm. So I'm gonna hold off on Frosthaven until retail. And to be honest, the price of the Kickstarter to the price of retail, you can get it cheaper at retail. So I'm definitely gonna wait on that anyways. This is one I was more interested in for now, for personal use. So anyways, that's my Kickstarter recap video, kind of what I'm doing. I really want to get more into doing these Kickstarter videos, talk about some of the games that I'm really eyeballing, especially when they are early in the development of the Kickstarter so that you guys could potentially back them as well, or we could have conversations of why we're backing them or why we're not backing them. I love to have some more content. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure you smash that like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm and pushes my content to more people that might enjoy this video. If you do enjoy the content I'm supplying here, make sure you subscribe as well. Anyways, have a good day, guys. This is Brian from Game Brigade.
Listen.